YouTube, hello there, GoblinAttackForce. I'm 6ftHax, and today I bring you a duel with a deck that I definitely love. It's not one of those mainstream decks like Insectors, Dino Rabbits, and all that. It's actually Infernitys, which I've seen an Infernity deck or two, but Infernitys are my favorite kind of monsters, and I really love them. What Infernitys do are, if I have no cards in my hands, then their effects take place, which I was lucky enough to draw Phantom Hand, which Phantom Hand is definitely a key card I like to run in this deck because it allows me to remove all the cards in my hand from play, and that means that my Infernitys card's effect will be able to activate a whole lot easier instead of me having to ditch my hand. But what I should have done right off the bat was to activate it while he ended his turn, because when Infernity Archfiend is drawn and you have no cards in your hand, it's able to be special summoned, and when Archfiend is special summoned, I can add one Infernity card from my deck to my hand, which definitely would have come in handy. But I still have Patrol, so I can still hopefully send Patrol to the graveyard, which he's actually going to do for me. And once Patrol's in the graveyard, I can remove from play in order to special summon one Fiend type monster with 2,000 or less attack points from my hand, which means I will still be able to special summon Archfiend later on the duel. But I don't want to do that right now. I just want to be careful and just see what he wants to do, because thanks to my Phantom Hand, I have no cards in my hand technically, since for some reason Duel Network doesn't allow you to remove your hand face down. So my Infernity cannot be destroyed by card effect, and it cannot be destroyed by battle. So eventually, when this thing is in defense mode, it's fucking untouchable. But unfortunately, his Penguin Soldier is going to send my Guardian back to my hand, and now he's going to be able to special summon Tricky because he did ditch his Penguin. Now I don't want to take 4,000 life points already, so I'm going to Mystical Space Typhoon one of his Axe of Despairs, which the smarter play possibly would have been to Mystical Space Typhoon on one of his Space Down cards, but you never know when those extra 1,000 life points can come in handy, and then I'll just play around those accordingly. So I'm just going to summon my Guardian back out in attack mode, because next turn I will be able to switch to defense mode, which means I will be safe from any damage, unless he's got something that causes piercing damage. Then I have nothing to really worry about, as he's going to take a pretty big chunk of life points out of me with the Tricky and the Werewolf attack. But you know what? I'm going to finally switch this thing to defense mode, which means I am basically untouchable, barring, like I said, he's got nothing that causes piercing damage, or he's got nothing that removes a monster from play. So I'm going to put my Avenger face down on the field, and I'm going to use Patrol's effect this turn, which means I can remove it from play, send it to banish, and I will be able to special summon a Fiend type monster with 2,000 of attack from my hand and special attack or special defense mode. And hey guys, sorry if I mispronounce some words or stutter a bit, because English is not my first language, so yeah, please bear with me with that. So I'm going to summon my Archfiend, and as I mentioned earlier, when Archfiend is summoned, I am able to add one Infernity card from my deck to my hand, and I'm actually going to decide to add Infernity Break, because Infernity Force would not be useful considering I do not have an Infernity in my graveyard. So I'm going to take this opportunity to set down. Sorry that this guy keeps popping up there, guys. So I'm going to end my turn. As there you can see, Infernity Reflector was a pretty dumb card to sit down on the field. It's just taking up another spot. But I still have Phantom Hand, so it's really not going to be that big of a deal. I should have kept Reflector in my hand and not put it on the field, which was a dumb play on my part. But I am going to use Infernity Break on his Tricky, and I'm going to Book of Moon his Werewolf face down, allowing me to save my Archfiend the next turn, hopefully destroy his Werewolf with Archfiend, as long as he does not have anything to stop my attack. But he actually activates Torrential Tribute by mistake, but now I now know that I have to worry about that later on in the duel, so I have to be careful with what I play and make sure I have no cards in my hand when I do summon a monster, because of Guardian's effect. It will not be destroyed by Torrential Tribute. But this turn he activates the right face down, activating Stalker Right to Armor, and I decided to negate that because I thought it would be useful later on in the duel to keep my Infernity Archfiend. But no, he actually solemns my barrier, which, you know what, I'm actually pretty fine with, because I've already done 4,000 points of damage to him without even touching him, as he just switches Werewolf back to attack mode, and he gets another Axe of Despair. How do you get all 3 Axe of Despairs like that soon on the duel? Whatever. And he already had like 2 in his hands to start off with, which is like, what the fuck? But whatever. So I'm just going to set my Grepher down on the field, which I probably should have just used Phantom Hand's effect and kept Grepher in my hand if I later drew an Infernity I wanted to send to the graveyard, so I could special summon it with my Necromancer, but it's whatever. So I'm just going to draw my Torrential Tribute, which has no use for me until later on. Actually, right now, because he's actually going to flip summon his Penguin Soldier. Since the flip summon is technically still a summon, I will be able to activate Torrential Tribute, destroying his Penguin and destroying his Werewolf. And since I have no cards, my Guardian is still going to be on the field because, as I mentioned, it cannot be destroyed by battle and it cannot be destroyed by card effect. Honestly, Infernity Guardian is possibly the one card in this deck that has saved me countless of times and allowed me to stall to the point where I was able to draw something to help me out. So I absolutely love Infernity Guardian, definitely my favorite card out of all these Infernities. So I'm going to draw a pile of Duality, and I'm just going to mill the top 3 of my cards to see what I want to get. And I do manage to mill the Necromancer, which will definitely come in handy. And I'm just going to send Mirage and Solemn back to my deck. And Solemn Warning possibly wouldn't have been big of a help. But here I'm going to make a bit of a misplay. I'm actually going to special summon when I am not allowed to special summon with a Pot of Duality effect, but he did not catch that. I did not catch that until I started narrating this. So yeah, that was a bit of a misplay on my part. But honestly, it does not matter because he still has Torrential Tribute. But I'm going to chain my my Phantom Hands effect, which means Raigeki Break is removed from my hand, allowing me to keep my Guardian on the field and just sends my Archfiend and my Necromancer back to my graveyard. So yeah, eventually I would have drawn a Infernity Break or summon my Archfiend to get Infernity Break. So I do believe that really wasn't that big of a misplay or that big of a deal, to be honest. So I'm just gonna, obviously I really can't do anything. I'm pretty sure he can't do anything either, as he sets Source of Revealing Light, which I can see how that would help him a bit. And I'm just gonna set my Break this turn, and I'm gonna bring out my Mirage. Now, Infernity Mirage is definitely a good card to draw in Infernity deck because it allows you to send it to the graveyard and special summon any 2 Infernities from your graveyard. And there he activates Solemn, which, you know what, I'm fine. That's just more life points damage he's taking. So in the long run, it'll end up helping me out instead of helping him out. Now, he's going to use Monster Reborn now. I have Bottomless and I have Break, so I'm really not too worried about what he wants to bring out unless he wants to bring out one of my Infernities. Then I'd rather use Break on my Infernity instead of having it removed from play because you'll never know when I will possibly need that Infernity. But he actually decides to just special summon his Tricky, and I'm going to activate my Bottomless just for banishing the Tricky from play. And I don't know why they changed it from removing from play to banish, which I just think is stupid, but nah, that's just my personal opinion. So it's my turn, and I'm hoping I can draw a monster so I can activate Break and destroy the Swords of Revealing Light, then end this duel. But no, I drew Mirror Force, which could come in handy later on if this duel is dragged out, as he summons I forget, it's Dragon something, but I actually managed to draw my second Mirage, which means he's got no face down to negate my summon, which means I can ditch it to the graveyard, special summon my Necromancer, and special summon my Archfiend. And with Archfiend's effect, I can add 1 Infernity card to my deck, and with Necromancer's effect, I can special summon another Infernity from my graveyard, allowing me to special summon my Infernity Avenger, which is the tuner monster of my deck, which means I will set my Infernity Break next turn just in case I need it, and I'm going to activate Break, destroying his Swords of Revealing Light, which means next turn, well this turn technically, I'm going to sink Necro, Guardian, and my Avenger, allowing me to special summon the key monster in this deck, which is Ogre Dragoon, and he's going to take 1000 from his monster being destroyed and the next 1800, allowing me to win this with 24 life points throughout this whole duel, which was pretty damn lucky if you ask me. But yeah, anyways, if you guys enjoyed the duel, make sure to click the like button down there and to sub to GoblinAttackForce. And with that, guys, I'm out of here. Later.